Okay. And how are we doing? So, back to the jump chain. Back to the jump chain. Adventures through the multiverse on our way to a date with destiny. Captain Kirk is climbing the mountain. Why is he climbing the mountain? Because he's in love. And we're in love. And that's why we jump. Gen Q, we say hello to you. First in the live chat, gold medal on to thee. A story based affair. So hopefully you'll enjoy the story that I dare to dare. Jonacide. Guys, you all jumped in at the same time. So I'm gonna call it a tie. Silver medal tie for Jonacide. Tim Frey on YouTube. We've got a gold medal going out to Mario, grabbing that gold, but silver medal for Jonacide on Twitch. But unfortunately, we're not going to be in the land of Akaba, but, well, what's not canonically attached to Akaba? We're jumping over that chain, jumping through the chains. True words. It all comes down to Akaba, don't you know? And if you're not in the know, don't tap out, don't turn away. The secret is in the sauce. We're all going to find ourselves. I'm learning something about myself. Along the first Pokemon trainer jump chain, follow along. I arrived in this world thinking to myself, I'm not a Pokemon trainer. I'm opposed to this. I haven't changed my tunes, but along to the second jump, I'm going to tell you something. I'm finding out something. I can't, like Matt Dillon in There's Something About Mary. I started off not knowing a thing about Pokemon really, but now I can't get enough of these goofy little bastards. Got a fever for a flavor of a Pokemon. By way of educating myself along the way, last time I checked in, I was telling y'all, hey man, when I started off with this Pokemon trainer jump chain, a place that I was determined to spend at least 10 years, even though I knew nothing about Pokemon, but according to the rules of the jump chain dogma, if I wanted to do it right, it was the place that I needed to start my journey to be the master jumper, the jumper that I was determined to be, to face off against the multi-sentient gamer, my nemesis, JSG. If you know, you know. There's a link to the playlist below. Get involved if you dare. This ain't a game. It's a game. Is it? Okay, check this out. Clues along the way. I started off trying to educate myself. It's more than a game, it's a lifestyle. No, I get it. Sorry. No, Sundry. Sundry aside. Um, I was dreaming when I wrote this, so excuse me if I forget the line. Okay, back to focus. I arrived in Pokemon Trainer land, unsure of myself, knowing that I did not care to train Pokemon, primarily because I thought it was going to be a total S show if I tried to get involved with, learning the stats and trying to figure this all out. So I decided to make myself my jumper one self insert by the name, going by the delightfully easy to pronounce and falling right off the tongue, Felix Julius Saint Germain. I am Orion, for those who know. Bob's your uncle. A Pokemon abolitionist, one who has come to this land, arriving at the tender age of 12, to preach the good word of no Pokeball, to say, don't do this. Uh, don't put little pocket monsters in Pokeballs to make them fight in gymnasiums for your amusement, um, to the point of fainting. This is tantamount to slavery. Turn away. And we spent I forget I think it was our first, last time we checked in, I think it was our first 4 years from the ages of 12 to 15, having no luck. In the description box below, you'll see the playlist where you'll see our that first episode where we talked about our first 4 years in the land of the Pokemon trainers. Having no luck, but having established a love-hate relationship with the chief investigator garage girl, the garage girl of the girl who works in the garage of the chief investigator. And but being tested in this world, especially being tested to see that our journey, that we were prepared to know that it was going to be one of hardship and hard to do. It was also hard on our our hetero life partner, the Squirtle known as Ralph. But over time, we see that Ralph is with us of his own volition. And I can tell you at this point, we're going to be finishing up our time and putting a coda on our adventures in the Pokemon Trainer land. I can tell you that at this point, Ralph has evolved to the next evolution by his own volition of I think it's a Wardle kind of Pokemon. But normally he would have the typical Squirtle to Wartortle has a kind of like Bozo the Clown kind of twin fanning out accoutrement hairdo coming out the sides. He almost looks like almost resembles more like the bad guy from Super Mario Brothers, whoever that guy is named, like whoever the F that guy is, like whoever the bad guy is, Koopa, like King Koopa, like whatever the guy's name is, like, because it's like our Ralph is kind of like more of like a red mohawk. His hair is not light blue, it's red. Okay. And it's gone down the middle. I guess through his association with me, he's gone down a different evolutionary path. And his tail that should be like red furry is I mean blue, like light blue furry as per a normal Squirtle to Wardle evolution, is red too. But this has also made us, more of a targeted individuals in this land, because now people want to study him. So we've had to go further underground. Taking notes, I generate notes for my solo gameplay by watching movies from the past and, grabbing lines, grabbing memorable phrases, or if I see a trope, grab a trope. See an amazing piece of fashion, I grab that piece of fashion. See a character do something ridiculous or be a a comical foil, I grab that, or see a hero doing something amazing or something ridiculous, I grab it. A visual cue, a piece of dialogue, anything I that sticks out, I grab it. And years go with years. So Pokemon started in 1996. My character was 12 years old at the outset of this journey. So I watched a movie from 1996. I watched a movie from 1987. I watched another movie from 1996, and I got various lines. And from these various lines, I rolled dice to generate 3 lines we took for our first 4-year stint, and then I took 3 lines to come up with cues, little narrative cues for this next little part that is gonna encompass our last little segment of the Pokemon journey. And for those who are Jumpchain aficionados and Jumpchain rule followers, let you know that though I'm taking these outside influences, I'm not going to use them to generate any perks or items not contained within the original jump chain documents. I'm not going to use them to generate any non-canonical Pokemon or anything like that. And you'll see for this last segment, we have 3 lines, one from 1996, one from 1987, and one from 1996 again. We have Pretty Girl, Going to Church at Putt Putt Land, the Sub Pop Hype Machine. And I'll show you how I just take these lines and how we're going to use them as cue points for the last part of the story that I've been mulling over in my head for this last thing. Had we checked in more, we'd have more points to the story, but we're just going to finish up the Pokemon journey by telling you this. We've gotten older. We're going to be, I had my jumper age. I don't know if everybody has their jumper's age. My jumper is aging. So he entered the world of Pokemon Trainer Land at 12. We've been here 10 years, so he's exiting at 22. How we got to the Pretty Girl is obviously, well, not obviously, but in my story is this love-hate relationship we've had since youth with the chief investigator Garage Girl. Now, I'm a wanted man as a Pokemon abolitionist preaching against the status quo of the land, preaching against the way the normative behavior of studying Pokemon, putting Pokemon in Pokemon balls, and this organized gym battle arena methodology. I'm wanted by the law, though in my youth I was tolerated. As I got older, my criminality, my termed the juvenile delinquent, then termed the wanted man, termed crazy, laughed at by some, abused by others. I've become trained. My aura powers, and along with Ralph's egg coat and mirror coat abilities, we've learned to work with each other. We have a simpatico combat style that we use primarily for defense. We seek no violence, though if we need to, we do what we got to do. My aura powers will move against his mirror coat. He'll block my move against my aura powers, and will work in kind of a aura-based aikido. We see you, Jonaside, and we appreciate your live chat participation to whatever degree you can participate. Much like Ralph, feedback on my energy, and I will feedback on his as we move around. I'll wrap my aura energy around him as he moves across the water, creating kind of quasi hovercraft effects as we bank and move against waves. We're getting good. We're getting mad good. But that doesn't change the fact that we're wanted criminals. And as he's evolved, those Pokemon professors, oh, they want a piece of that ass. One day, we got our asses kicked. And I can't get into those Pokemon centers. I've got my advanced healing kit, but it can only do so much. At one point, my boy Ralph went down bad, far beyond fainted. There's this place. They call it the church. It is at a amusement park. It does have a computer inside. It does have a healing center, but I can't get in there. But the little lady can. I saw her going in there one day, and I approached with my boy in hand, in my arms. You got to get him in there. You got to heal him up. Tears in my eyes, tears streaming. You got to heal him up. You got to heal, but you got to do it. You got to do it under the radar. You got to, come on, come on. Don't get him caught. Don't get him caught. Don't let him get his hands on him. Don't. We had this back and forth. We're enemies, right? She's going to turn me in. But yet I knew in that moment she was the only one that I could turn to. And I knew the unspoken thing between us. As she grabbed Ralph out of my hands and as she assured me, no, she wasn't going to take him. She wasn't going to turn him in. Yeah, she was going to get him healed. But yeah, I had to get the fuck out of there. And I did my best to be patient and to hide out, spying from across the way through bushes, seeing desperately hiding the urge to go in, stare in the window, see what the hell was going on. Until sometime later, draped in one of those like silver foil, like huge silver foil things. I don't know if this is like, they do this with Pokemon, don't do this. They just come out of the pod, they come out of the ball, right? All healed up. But for whatever reason, he had the little silver foil blankie. You know, they have the silver foil blankie. Comes out. Yo, Ralph. What him. Ralph. Ralph. Over here. You lose it to the well, Shroom, we see you, baby. Thanks for being in the live chat, honey. Looks it over to me. You good, man? You good? I'm looking in his eyes. You good, man? You good, homie? They do anything to you? They take your blood? Did they milk you? Did they milk you? It's you're still a man. Did they milk you? Did she milk you? It's okay. You're still a Squirtle, man. It's okay. They do it to, no, it's like Squirtle. Ralph, Squirtle, I'm cool. Tells me. Okay. Time moves on. Now, the Sub Pop Hype Machine is the last line that we have, because here's the deal. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no success as a Pokemon abolitionist. Though a Bellsprout eventually comes along and follows us, he doesn't really become a companion. He's just kind of a hanger-on by the name of Helmut. He's really a traditional Pokemon of the Garage Girl. Her name doesn't matter. I'm going to refrain from telling you her name, because I don't need anyone doxing her, and I don't need her catching slack, and I don't need anyone trying to get back there and F with her. It's a thing between me and her. But I will tell you a little bit about the chief investigator. We're just going to call him Good Cop Big Chief 23. Okay? He's got this line. This motif. I want to talk to you. Just wants to know what's going on. He knows something's up. He always knows something's going on. He's one of these guys. He's a good cop. He wants to help. Good Cop Big Chief 23. I'll tell you what. If you're ever in this place, what the hell is this place called? Unova. Which I later found out was from 2010. The canonical Unova is from the black and white Pokemon. I wish I had known this, because that's exactly 15 years ago from now. And the 15-year nostalgia loop is balmy. It's good. I've actually started watching the black and white episodes of Pokemon Black and White from 2010 for research. Which is my next jumper when I start off there will be we'll have a lot better idea if I end up rolling up on Unova again. I could end up in this whole new place. Like, now I gotta learn about this place. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But Big Chief, if you're ever in Unova, look for a guy, Good Cop Big Chief 23. I'll tell you about that guy. You'll know him if you hear him say, if you get a feeling that you're looking at the right guy, you'll know it's the right guy if you hear him say, want to talk to you, in that kind of way. Anyway, that's an aside. But anyway, so we ended up forming a band. And I'll tell you something, the gal never really believed me about what I was saying about who I was, that I wasn't going to be there for long, that I wasn't from there, and that one day I was just going to disappear. So we formed this band, and name of the band's not important. But should I hold on. Play a little bit of the tune. I don't know if you'll never even hear this. Hold on, let's see if you hear this. Can't even hear the shit. Lame. I don't know if you can hear this. I remember breaking through. You probably can't even hear this. I can hear it. I don't know if you can. Most people just thought we were a joke. Most people just thought we were a joke because they knew about me and my philosophy. It was just kind of like that crazy guy that's got the band with the Squirtle on drums, and the Helmut, the Bellsprout, was kind of like the Baz of the group. No one got this reference because everyone was from Unova. They were from Pokemon Land. They didn't know what the hell I was talking about. As part of the reason people thought it was crazy. But if you know the Happy Mondays, Baz, the guy that just danced around, that was like, Bellsprout was just kind of like, Helmet was just kind of like, he didn't really do much. We'd like try to do different things with him. We tried to get him play triangle. It didn't really work. But anyway, I was just, and we didn't really go anywhere because it was just kind of like a couple of people let us open up, but it was just kind of like, it was always like, the crazy guy who thinks he's going to free every Pokemon. Yeah, he's got a band. It was like, that was the thing. And like, I knew I was a joke. So I would just, I'd end up picking up, it's like it ended up being a part-time thing. And then it was just, she never believed what I would say about disappearing one day. And I was always like, look, we're going to go back to the church and we're going to get married. And then we're going to release this record. And the day after we release the record, me and Ralph are going to go into the sunset and disappear. That was like what I would tell her. And she was like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to participate in you trying to. Well, she didn't use this term because I'm using this term for you guys so you understand Minecraft yourself. I know what you're thinking, and I'm not going to participate, And I'm like, no, you understand. I'm really going to disappear on such and such a date because I'm telling you the truth. I'm not from here. Me and Ralph are going to go you can come with us if you blah 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 da 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 da. We're going on this mystical magical journey, whatever. She goes, I'm not leaving my family, this, then the other thing. You can feel free to stay here. And I said, I am not going to do that because I have to go on this journey, blah, 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 blah. And also, not for nothing, I have, family too back on, Earth. And she's like, you are crazy. I love you. But, I guess, when you decide to either become okay with staying here and or you whatever, and I said okay. And then on one mystical magical night, guess what happened? I said, I got the call from the great beyond. I got the tap, and I said, here we go. Coming out as a Scientologist, but only for jump chain purposes, Wolf Shroom. Very important that we make that designation. Okay, if you clip the clip without including this part, okay, you're the suppressive person. Literally. Okay. It's happened to me before. Okay. I choose to live my life in honesty, but that doesn't mean, well, look, we live in a post-truth society. Anyone is free to, do whatever they want to do, right? You know what I mean? But remember, you're the douchebag. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like I'm not saying. Hey, well, hold on. You're not the douchebag yet. Okay, that's not a dare. And also, if there are any Scientologists out there, we believe in freedom of religion. Okay, you do you, boo. You do you, Zeno. Hey, one day I said, it's happening. I'm going away now. Ralph, we're going away now. And Ralph was like, okay. He was like, my bag, he was like, he wasn't, he was like, I was like, Ralph, you cool with this? We're going with, he's like, Ralph, we're going on the jump chain. You cool with this? You have to say, you're cool with this? And Ralph was like, Ralph, because he stopped saying Squirtle. He was like, okay. I'm like, Ralph, you know what I mean? Like, knock three. He goes, he's cool with that. He's cool with that. I said to the gal, I said, it's happening. What's happening? And she was like, what are you? And I started to glow, and I started to like, you know, do the whole like, I said, it's really happening. I said, I'll see you later. She goes, what the? She goes, oh my God, you were telling the truth. I said, yeah. I said, I know. I said, she goes, I can't go. I got to take care of my family. I said, I understand. I know. And she said, I love you. And I said, I love you too, babe. I'll see you around. She goes, are you coming back? I said, I don't know. I said, whatever. She goes, but I got one thing to tell you. And I go, why? And before she could tell me anything, me and Ralph were back in the stream, dude. In a New York minute, we were into the stream. And that's how I exited the Pokemon trainer jump chain at the tender age of 22. Dippity dippity dip, dippity dippity do. Now, if I had known what I know now, I would have started the Pokemon trainer jump chain thinking about it as the year 2010. I didn't. I thought about it as being tied to the start of Pokemon in 1996. So then I started thinking about my next jump chain, wanting to be a world from 1997. So I started doing research about movies from and IPs, intellectual properties from 1997. Put these to the side. And I found one, and I had to think about a jump chain that I could survive, right? Because I just came out of Pokemon Land, so I have some powers, I have some abilities, but I don't necessarily have like super abilities yet. So I wanted a place that was cool. Also, I had Ralph with me, man. Ralph is he's now 3 feet tall because he's evolved now. He's not just a Squirtle, he's a Wardle, I guess. I guess that's how you pronounce it. But he's got the big red mohawk, and he's still a turtle, dude. He's a 3 foot tall, basically a turtle, right? You know what I mean? He's a cute guy, but he's still that, right? So I got to think of a place where we could kind of go, you know what I mean? Incog Pokemon. We say hello to Arthur in the live chat. Arthur, welcome to the live chat. So then are we going to a new world or are we still in Pokemon? We just left Pokemon. You're joining us. We just left Pokemon. We're 30 minutes into the live stream. You'll have to rewind to get the catch up and the exit on Pokemon. I dare say it was pretty epic. But then again, what do I know? But if you rewind, you'll catch the 30 minutes, or you could just jump with us, and we're getting to, it's like basically a prelude to our next jump, which is going to be the fifth element. The fifth element. Now I'm going to give you some information. Okay. I'll tell you a preview. In the fifth element, jump chain, we're actually going to meet and we're going to pick up as a companion another Pokemon. What? Breaking all the rules. Listen, if jumpers can jump from Pokemon worlds to different worlds, including the fifth element, we have to know that jumpers can bring companions like Pokemon to the fifth element, and we know that jumpers can die. So ostensibly, and also they could break up with companions, right? And also we know that I think in certain jumps, the Pokemon trainer jump chain is not the only Pokemon themed jump chain. I think there are jump chains where people are actually Pokermen. They're actually Pokemon, right? Introduce us, then can I jump Jon Snow in too? There are Game of Thrones jump chains. You can absolutely look. Folks, look up jump chains. There's a jump chain wikia. You can go to the jump chain Discord. You could go to the jump chain Reddit. Arthur, are you going to mass breed your Pokemon and release them to the fifth element world? Introduce the wonder of Pokemon into that world. That is not necessarily the plan, but I will tell you what's going to happen. Let me go step by step. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro and review to. Let me tell you this. Okay, so I'm going to be using. Here we go. Let me start by sharing the screen. Here we go. This is not going to be the narrative of this will be a little bit of the narrative of the fifth element jump chain story. We're going to get a preview of it, but you're not going to hear. It's not really going to be the full narrative like we've been doing for Pokemon yet. This is going to be more of an intro to the build that's not complete yet, and a preview of what we're going to be doing. This is going to be a companion themed build, I could tell you, in a companion themed jump. But I'm also going to tell you, we might not actually be here for 10 years. We might actually only be here for a limited number of times, including we might only be here for the number of days that the fifth element takes place. And I think it takes place for about 3 days. They have like 3 days to save the world. We might actually only have 3 days to gather the number of companions we want before getting the F out of Dodge. You'll also notice I'm going right from the Pokemon trainer jump chain right into this one without a preliminary stop into any sort of warehouse. I don't think it's necessary for me to do a warehouse start yet, just because I only have Ralph with me and I only have a handful of items from the Pokemon jump chain. So I don't think it's necessary for me to stop and drop crap off or get my bearings or anything. I don't think that's really necessary. I think we could just jump right in there and do everything we need to do in the cab. I will do this. Here we go. Let me do this. Present the screen. Here we do this. Share screen. Window. Boom. Let me give a shout out to the author of the Fifth Element Jumpchain, which I believe is a couple of years old. It's by Yoro Konde. Okay. But let me also say this. What I like about this Jumpchain is there's a narrative introduction that I think is on point. I think the narrative introduction, how the narrative introduction flows into and sets up the construction and build of your jumper, I think is really, really nice. Having said that, I am going to let you know that overall, I think Wolfstream says Euroconde was always super nice. And your use of the past tense intimidates me a little because I'm about to do this. I'm going to say that the jump chain itself in toto is a bit mid, but I don't think that that's all Conde's fault because let's be honest, the movie, The Fifth Element, I think in retrospect, when we look at it, is it we all remember, a lot of us remember it fondly. I remember it fondly. I rewatched it recently. And for my, even at the time, I remember it this way. It is a visual feast. Okay. It is absolutely a visual feast. But beyond it being a visual feast, there's not a lot there. The plot sucks. The plot is absolute garbage. The character development is for shit. It's basically just, and having a guy like Jean-Paul Gaultier design some of the costumes for some of the scenes in a sense, science fiction movie, I think it would be a brilliant choice. To have a guy like Jean-Paul Gaultier do the fashion design choices for the club scenes would be brilliant. To have Jean-Paul Gaultier do the fashion choices for the entire movie is ridiculous. The movie is a French movie, and it shows. Chris Tucker's performance is overblown, overwrought, and stupid. I mean, the whole movie is basically you go to see the movie to go see the greatest depiction of a science fiction city since Blade Runner. That's it. And then number two, it's Mila Jovovich in Band-Aids. That's it. That's the movie. The movie is the greatest depiction of like Mobius's science fiction cities, the greatest depiction of science fiction cityscapes and flying cars since Blade Runner, number one. Number two, Mila Jovovich with red hair, with punk rock red hair, and in bandages. That's it. That's the good parts of the Fifth Element. Every other aspect of Fifth Element. Oh, and the big gold robots. The big gold robots were pretty choice too. Every other aspect of the Fifth Element is boner balls. The movie fucking sucks. It really does. There's ever since that I've watched that movie maybe like several times. The majority of times that I've watched that movie, I've watched it on a big screen with the volume off and techno music playing or playing a video game like the Nintendo Switch in the background as well. Right? That's it. I've just told you everything about the movie. Tony Lister as the president. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like the original Camacho. God bless Tony Lister, right? I'd never say that to his face. The only thing I'd ever say to Tony Lister to his face, with all due respect and for good purposes and great reasons, would be, hello, Mr. Lister, not to be a bother. And excuse me if I'm out of line. Could I please have your autograph? Right. And followed up by, I loved you in The Fifth Element. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh my God. He can sign his name. You know what I mean? I barely remember except Chris character gave me trauma to this day. It was horrible. Chris Tucker's performance in Fifth Element is risible. It is horrendous. It was horrendous casting. It was horrendous performance. It was redunk. Okay. So the fact that the Fifth Element Jumpchain doesn't have a lot to work with, I don't think is the author's fault. My biggest problem with the Jumpchain then is it doesn't have a lot to give you because there's not a lot of characters in the movie to give you a whole bunch of options for backgrounds. It doesn't have a lot to give you for options for items. There's only one major weapon in the movie, that big thing. So he gives you that. And then my biggest problem with the Jumpchain document is the fact that the drawbacks that are on offer, of which I took none, is they all basically run contrary to the main perks that are, especially the main perks that are offered as the 100 character generation point free perks for all the origins. So almost all the drawbacks are redundant. They almost all are centered on the notion of not being able to communicate or hindering your ability to communicate. But a huge number of the perks that are on offer for all the backgrounds are based on communication skills, either the ability to insult people well, or to communicate people well, or to get away with being able to communicate well. So almost all the drawbacks are completely, if you take them, and drawbacks in the general rule for jump chains are drawbacks supersede perks. So if you take any of these drawbacks, yeah, you get additional character creation points, but what are you going to do with them? Because the drawbacks, by their very nature, eliminate all of the possible perks that you can get almost entirely. So there's really nothing you can really do with this except buy the possible main characters as companions, which you can do all of them. You can buy all the main characters as companions: Lilu, Dallas, Ruby Road, and the Priest. You can get them all as 300 CP purchases, and you could do that. So you can make yourself basically like an unknowable idiot in the back. Like you could make yourself technically the Priest's companion and then buy everyone else as a main character and then just replay the movie and then hopefully see if at the end of the movie everyone wants to just jump with you and then get everyone as a, like you could do, like play it like that if you wanted to. I wasn't interested in that. So here's what I did. I am doing it. I rolled for my location, which is the New York City government HQ. Now, here's another problem that I have with the Jumpchain document. You get to the New York City government HQ, but for whatever reason, the author of the document puts you not in the building somewhere where you have to explain why you're in the building, or not outside the building. You're in President Lindbergh's like main room. Okay. Then you have to explain why you're there. I chose to be a drop-in character. I'm going to be 19. I'm going to be male because it's a free choice. I'm taking as my perks Sinu Ecto Gamut, which means I've kind of basically a universal ability to be understood despite any language barriers. Now, the way that I read the perk is, it's not necessarily that I can't speak. It's not necessarily that I can't speak any language. It's that if I don't speak a person's given language, I'd still be able to be universally understood through other means, which will be great. That's a free perk for me as a drop-in. I'm taking the perk. He's perfect. I'm a dude, so I'm changing the gender for 100 credit points, discounted from 200, which means I've got physical perfection as far as health, strength, intelligence, etc., because I'm a perfect being. Okay. Again, like in the movie, a perfect being is a possibly anorexic individual who's got, it is what it is. It's subjective, whatever. He's learning our history for 200 credits, discounted from 400. Means I basically can like speed learn, speed absorption of information, just look like Lilu in the movie. Uh, and a capacity to learn and retain, so like an entire encyclopedia is possible inside my own brain, given like months of time to be able to study. That's going to be good, because remember, I add those on to the perks that I got from the Pokemon Trainer Jump Chain. I took all the perks from the Pokemon Trainer Jump Chain, all of the items, but none of the drawbacks. I lose the drawbacks. And I got those from discounts because I took those from the drop chain, but I took one perk from the corporate giant line. I'm not going to get it discounted, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to buy it for full price, which is, did you bring me what I asked for? Which is basically like an employee managerial control delegation power. It's an expertise in placing people where they belong in the corporate hierarchy. And I'm getting this because it's going to synergize with my previous perk of champ in the making, which I called the AKA the Jesus Messiah perk from the Pokemon Trainer, which means that I have another ability to make everyone work well together. So I'm going to get to synergize these things so I can really make teams where I'm like an expert at getting people to work together as teams. So I'm really concentrating on getting this core power base together of working with teams of people and getting teams to work together. Even though it didn't really plan out that well in the Pokemon Trainer, I think I was, really climbing up a steep hill, trying to change the entire dynamic, the core dynamic of the entire world view of Pokemon. Take care, Under You. Take care, Under You. Thank you for joining the live chat. Thank you for your live chat participation. So far, I've spent a total of 500 points on perks. Items. Everybody gets one free multi-pass. Now, bear in mind that when you jump in as a drop-in, it tells you, watch out for the cops, because the cops are not going to like you because you've got no identity. And they're not going to know what to do with a person with no identity. Then it tells you later on in the document that you get a free multi-pass. Hey, come on. I haven't written a jump document, so I'm not gonna throw shade. I'm not gonna throw shade. So I've got 500 points spent out of 1,000. Now, companions. This is where I'm going to concentrate. I'm not buying any items because, no offense, I didn't think the items were great. Now, listen, because I'm going to concentrate on buying companions. Okay. And companions, when you get companions, they come in, they get backgrounds. Okay. And they get 400 creation points themselves that they could spend on items themselves. And because I told you that the item list of available items was kind of, scant to begin with, they can buy all the items. I'm an expert at making teams work together. I'm not going to buy items. Let those guys buy the items. Okay. And they can use the items themselves. And I'm just going to delegate because I've got this power of helping people delegate. So check this out. Now, I was originally going to buy Lilu. I was going to spend 300 points buying Lilu, but I decided against that, and I'll tell you why. Check this out. So companions, I spent 200 points to get 8 companions. But you say to me, hey, Benjamin, you only have 1 companion so far. This dude, Ralph, the Pokemon Ralph. Why are you going to buy 8 companions? The rules of this jump chain says that if I have less than 8 companions to bring in, I can recruit companions from the general populace of the Fifth Element world. Okay. Except I have to buy the individual listed companions that they have, like Ruby Road, Lilu, or Dallas Corbin, whatever, individually for their 300 point allocation. Now, I was, and companions can't buy companions because apparently that's a jump chain rule. I was like, shucks, because I thought I had figured it out where you could just shade wanted, shake my head. Oh, what are you gonna do? Sorry. I'll throw shade on myself later on, a little self-deprecating shade. So stay tuned. You know what I mean? There you go. I thought I discovered this brilliant loop where you could just, I'm like, oh, you can just get companions The companions can just buy 8 companions each, and then there you go. Forget about it. Bob's your uncle. You'll just take over the world in no time. But then, of course, I'm like, I better check. So I checked Reddit, and then I checked this, like, the main, like, this, like, the core list of, like, Jumpchain stuff, like, basic, like, standard operating blue chip rules. And they were all like, no way, dude. Companions can't get companions. That would fuck everything up. And I was like, duh. I guess you could home rule it, but I want it to be like, I don't want to, like, start off my Jumpchain journey by being all like, fuck you. F your rules. I'm breaking everything. So anyway, but even still, I decided that Lilu was going to be a bad purchase, and I'll tell you why. I got ideas here. So check this out. So I originally came up with this idea for, because I've got this list, just like I had the list of things for, like, idea tropes and things for the Pokemon journey from 1996 and 1997. I watched a whole bunch of stuff from 1997 to get prompts and ideas for this jump. I watched An American Werewolf in Paris. Then I watched the first episode of the anime Berserk. Man, that was good. I'm watching that anime now. That is good stuff. Then I watched the episode 12 of the first season of Pokemon, which aired in 1997 in Japan. Okay. And then I watched a long play of GoldenEye for the N64 because that game came out in 1997. So I have a whole bunch of stuff from 1997. So for prompts. Now check this out. That's how I know we're going to get a Pokemon, because I found a whole bunch of people that I want to take as companions. These are going to be people that can be from, because Fifth Element came out in 1997. These are going to be characters that are generated off of prompts from 1997. They're going to be imaginary people. So we're going to be people that we're going to imagine from that come from the general populace, or could be from the general populace of the Fifth Element, even though they don't necessarily appear in the film The Fifth Element. And if anyone thinks that that's, like, not how you do it, or that's like Jumpchain blasphemy, I'm going to tell you what. I am CW Chanter. I am Benjamin. I am Cable Guy Incognito. And there are more people that are probably going to watch this Let's Play Jumpchain than are going to read any of the other fanfic Jumpchain storyboards ever, by definition. Okay? I am the Electric Messiah. I am now a player in the game. Fucking deal with it. The shit is from 1997. It says that we could bring people from the general populace. These people came from the general populace. Jumpchain people go to the world of what, it's all fucking fanfic anyway. People go from Pokemon world to the Fifth Element with Pokemon companions. Therefore, it's plausible and feasible that Pokemon get left behind. Therefore, it's plausible and feasible that Pokemon breed in there. In the Fifth Element world. Also, the Fifth Element takes place in, like, 21 whatever. It's 2025, so we have to believe that every conceivable jump chainer that ever jump chains from here till now, that goes from Pokemon world possibly to Fifth Element, possibly runs the risk of bringing a stray Pokemon, just not to mention the fact of all the people that go for Pokemon World to there as Pokemon. You know what I mean? There's Pokemon there. We can find them there. So anyway, there are people that I know we're going to find there. Like, check this out. So here's the preview. We know I'm buying the 200 point option to bring 8, to buy 8 companions. I was going to spend 300 points for Lilu. Fuck that. So I have an extra 300 points that I haven't figured out I'm going to spend for. But I know that I'm going to have 8 companions. We know that Ralph is one of them. I know what I'm going to spend Ralph's 400 points on. He's going to get the free multi-pass because everyone gets the multi-pass. He's going to be a drop-in, so he gets the 100 perk for free, which means he's understandable by everyone. Check this out. ZXPA, thank you for joining the live chat. Welcome to the live chat. As a drop-in, who gets that 100 points, that 100 Sino Ecto Gamut live perk for free. He has that perk now in perpetuity for every jump. That means that Ralph is now a Squirtle Pokemon who can be understood actually and canonically, even though all Pokemon can be understood by everyone in Pokemon land, like all trainers, he can now be universally understood it through the universe by everyone. Hot diggity effing damn. In addition to that, he bought at cost from the priest class. He paid full price because it's off his off his tree, off his skill tree. The 100 CP perk for the priest class, which means that he can draw from his faith and his credo in times of crisis to pull through like an extra times of struggle. And his faith and his credo is his belief in his familia, his team, his like, me and the rest of the crew. Like, that family means everything. That's all about the group and life and, everybody on the fellow journey. That would leave him with 300 points extra. And with that, he buys the flying cab, which is 300 points. And now he's our fucking wheelman. And he gets the 300, he gets the cab, which he can then take with him to other journeys as well. Hello. I know how to play Jumpchain. And in addition to that, that leaves us with an additional 7 companion slots. Check this out. I have number 3 from An American Werewolf in Paris from 1997, and number 3 from Berserk season 1, episode 1. If you're joining us late and this doesn't make any sense, I don't blame you. Don't worry about it. Wolf Stream says you had to subject yourself to that setting. You deserve it. Absolutely. I hear you, sister. I hear you, brother, whatever you are. I have Julie 3, the Black Swordsman. It's a dude named Julie, the Black Swordsman. We haven't spec'd them out yet, but we know most probably they're going to go the ex-Marine route for being the muscle. So we know that's going to be one of our companions too, though we haven't spec'd them out yet. We don't know what they've bought yet. We also know, if you've seen the episode that we're also going to take from, this is the spoiler for the Pokemon we're going to get. Pokemon season 1, episode 12, which aired in 1997. That's the one. Here comes the Squirtle Squad, right? The lead Squirtle that ends up joining Ash Ketchum as his Squirtle, right? Remember, he's the one that has the Hollywood. Remember Mannequin, the movie Mannequin? I call him the Hollywood. I call him the fat glasses for what the Hollywood. He's got the special glasses. That's how do you know in all the 80s movies who's the leader of the Asian street gang, because American audiences can't tell Asians from each other. He's the one with the special glasses. That's how if you watch 80s movies with Asian gang members, how do you tell who the leader of the gang is? He's the one with the special glasses with the bandana, the Japanese bandana with the rising sun on it. That's literally how you do it. That's how they did it. That's how they coded it. You don't believe me? Go watch an 80s movie, a movie from the 1980s with an Asian street gang. You'll see the leader of the gang is the guy with the special glasses or the armband or the rising sun bandana. That's how they coded it. So I've got a guy, Hollywood Squirtle, down for the hero run. If you remember, at the beginning of the 3rd act of Here Comes the Squirtle Squad, Ash Ketchum goes down and he's got Squirtle with him. He's got that Hollywood Squirtle with him with the Hollywood glasses. And he's like, run, Squirtle, save yourself. And Squirtle's like, oh, run, save myself? You must mean save all of us. And he picks up Ash Ketchum and he's like running as the bombs are going off. He's like, oh. He's like dodging the bomb blast. And at the end, when the Squirtle Squad gets reformed by the cop shop harem incest fantasy to go, with all the cop girls who all look exactly like each other because they're identical harem girls or whatever, they all decide to stick around and become like a fighting squad or whatever, except the Hollywood Squirtle decides to go with Ash and become his Squirtle. So whatever. So Hollywood Squirtle is going to be the one that we get to. We haven't spec'd them out yet, but check this out. Then I have also from Pokemon, I have Food Thieving Trap Squad ×5. because there were 5 of the original Squirtles. So we're breaking out Hollywood to be an individual Squirtle named Hollywood. We have Hollywood, the Squirtle Hollywood. We have Julie 3, the Black Swordsman, which is going to be his muscle. And then we have a 5-member food thieving trap squad. So 5, 6, 7. Ralph is 8. That'll be our 8 companions. Now you might be saying to yourselves, dude, you're loading up 8 full companions on your second jump chain. I don't know if you want to do that. What are you going to do? You're going to have 8 companions. So I'm like, whatever, dude. And they're going to be like, oh, your warehouse, you get to put them in sleep pods. I'm like, I don't have to do jack shit. They can hang out and be alive in the warehouse. They can stay alive forever. They can stay awake if they want to. Whatever, dude. Question: when you get time, what worlds are there? I just think Nightbreed would be fun, and the OG Highlander movie too. I think there's definitely Highlander. There are thousands of jump chain documents. You don't have to ask me. Google is your friend. Look to the internet. Search this term, jump chains. Are you on Discord? Go to Discord. Are you on Reddit? Go to Reddit. You are but 2 or 3 clicks away from the Google Drive documents. Wolfshroom says inactive companions are in like a stasis. They could be, or they could get off the stasis pods and do exercises in the warehouse. If you want, I guess if you want, why not? They could do whatever. Maybe I'll just, if you add the Google Drive to yours, you can just search. It has about every IP. Exactly. There you go. So maybe I'll just run with these bad boys. Because remember, I have to do that. So for every member of the trap squad, they all have to have names. So I don't want anyone to be like left out. So I have to build up for all these people. They all have to get perks. And so all of these individual companions will have, I don't want to short shrift anybody. So every time, so we have to figure out, I'm going to do my research to figure out how many days, the 5th element is supposed to be. Like how many days it goes from Lilu being resurrected to supposedly the end of the world. And then I want to make that the number of days that I should have to gather up all these people. We know we have Ralph specced out. So we know that we hit the ground running with me and Ralph. Okay. And we're going to have it that Ralph jacks the cab. Then we got to pick up Hollywood. I think Hollywood is like the pimp, and the Julie 3, the Black Swordsman, is the muscle. Then the food thieving trap squad are like the crew. Now, I'm not going to make them professionals in that regard because I'm not down with endorsing. Not that I don't think that I look down on that type of work, but it's just that I'm into the food thieving trap squad aspect of it. That people think that they might be getting one thing, but then they get their food jacked, right? And then it's going to be like kind of like a Robin Hood situation. Then they redistribute the food. They take what they need, but then they redistribute the food. It's going to be like that. So when does Rick and Daryl from the Walking Dead come in? Well, we're currently we were in 1996 with Pokemon. Now we're in 1997. So we've committed to a 30 jump run. So it's going to be 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. Count it up. Damn, that's a long time. Have I committed to going into the future? And if every day is a year, then it would be 300 days before I complete it. Folks, Subscribe. If you are a jump train aficionado, make sure you subscribe so that you can make sure that you're here when I do these things live, right? You want to be here when I do these things live, right? I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't like what I'm doing, and if you think I'm breaking the rules of Jumpchain or misunderstanding or misinterpreting something from Jumpchain, or if you need help understanding what I'm describing or what I'm doing, make sure to put that comment in the comment section below as well. Okay, so that I can clarify things either for you or for myself. Honestly, okay. So we'll wrap up here. Okay. Let me know if you have questions, if you have concerns. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I truly, truly want to learn. I truly don't want to be spreading disinformation, misinformation, or total, utter nonsense about jump chains. Jonaside says, I'm really enjoying this. You're explaining everything so I can understand it. My concern is there room for a Back to the Future cameo? Absolutely. But we would have to get up there. Willstrom says, loving this. Awesome. Remember, and folks, remember, feel free to clip and share on social media. Feel free to share this on social media. If you are a jump chain aficionado anywhere, roll for DeLorean. Come on. Big money. No whammies. Will we survive? Yo, check this out. 5 of Wands or staves, depending on your interpretation and your love of terminology. Folks, it looks like a fight. It looks like a hustle and a tussle, but people are just playing. Remember, when you find yourselves in the thick of it, when it looks like a real heated battle, just remember the proper way to think about it sometimes is to remember it's all just a game. It's all just a crazy game. And people are just playing. And don't forget, Pokemon evolve. Keep on evolving. So are you gaining XP faster as you jump in time? We are gaining XP. We are leveling. And our characters are improving, Mario, diegetically. We are picking up perks, items, and companions, and therefore we are gaining power and leveling, as people would understand it, but primarily diegetically. Tim Frey says, Poke Evolution and Revolution. If you know, you know. And knowing is half the schmeddle. Matthew Mercer approves. Speaking of Matthew Mercer, oh boy, did someone age like a 30-year-old cool English middle school teacher. Holy crap. Not to be ageist, but oh my God, as a only fairly attractive person, oh man, do I love it when people in geekdom who are the, man, I can't believe that passes for super attractive in geekdom, when they age. Holy crap. Did you see video of the new world tour? Holy my God. How you doing, Matt? So how's life as a manager at Hot Topic? Regional manager? Sorry, man. Come on. You know I'm only busting your stones. How's that Odyssey? Honda Odyssey? Dude, yeah, come on. Again, did you get my application? God, this is cool. Just because you bought stock in Dippity Doo. But the bond fell out. Oh, God. Man, that guy aged. They all aged. You were complaining about the women? Just a matter of time. There you go. I'd be curious what you get up to in the remaining decade within the fantastical cyberpunk city, or you're deciding jumper leaves early. I think we're only going to be there. I think I'm listen, I'm going to tell you something. Pokemon, staying in Pokemon for 10 years was one thing. There's at least lore there. This to the notion of I think we have to. I think the jump chain thing, the jump chain world, there's certain of these assumed rules that people really have to look at, and the notion that just because Quicksilver wrote the first Pokemon trainer document and said you'll be here for 10 years, the notion that everyone needs to stay in every jump chain for 10 years, I really think as an outsider coming in, that is an assumption that people just need to look at and say, what? Especially if some people are just going to make builds and move on to the next jump, and then some people are going to think that they want to write stories. Why on earth should your story be burdened by some absolutely random thrown out rule, assumed rule, like we're supposed to be here 10 years? This, as I said, with my problems with the movie The Fifth Element, there is not 10 years of life that I think there's not enough information contained within the visual smorgasbord that is The Fifth Element to provide you with 10 years of mineable material, with enough material for 10 years of experience. I am going to take the cue from where it's a race against time as Corbin Dallas and Lilu are trying to save the universe. Jumpchain has let us know you're here. You know the world's going to blow up. They're doing their thing. I look at Ralph. I say, Ralph, I know exactly where we are. I know exactly what's going on. There's some hoes in this house. There are some interesting things in this house. Ralph's looking around. Maybe he knows Hollywood. Maybe Hollywood is like a long lost brother of his. And he's like, or maybe we came here for that reason. And he's like, can we get Hollywood? And maybe we're on a rescue mission to find Hollywood. And that's what we're here for. Like maybe Jumpchain is the person, is the mythical person that everyone has every jumper has a Jumpchain. It's like the mythical person, that the benevolent divine person that sends you on the Jumpchain missions to the Jumpchain missions to go. That's like Jumpchain lore. Maybe we're there to get these people. We're here to get the crew. We're here to get Julie. We're here to get Hollywood and get them the F out of here. And our mission objective is to get these people, to find them on the streets. We have enough things. We're going to do random rolls. Maybe we're going to do random rolls, and I'll come back with a battle report and say, we did this, we did this, we did this, and we got their ass and we got them out in 3 days. Or when we rolled in 3 days, we found Julie, we found Hollywood, but he was separated from the crew. We found the crew, but one of the girls ran off. We found the crew, but 2 of the girls ran off, or they were under arrest, so we had to go try and rescue them, or we got separated, or we got kidnapped, or whatever, and we'll figure it out. That'll be the story. Okay. Listen, only a cop can teach you how to win a war bravely. This is sounding like Kingdom Hearts. Hey, maybe we'll go to Kingdom Hearts next, folks. Also, if you've got input on where we should go after this, Wolfstream says, ultimately, what's best for your story, being stuck in a mid setting, can have its own opportunities for good stories as well. That's true as well. Without a doubt. That's true as well. Hey, Lord only knows. I could go by my 1 year equals 1 day equals 1 year. If I come back in 4 days, I could say, hey, man, it's been 4 years. The world got saved, but we're still looking for our heroes, right? I got to take care of this. That's perfect timing for us. We've already gone a little bit longer. We've already drawn our card. So I will tell you the following. If you didn't see this coming, you haven't liked, comment, you haven't subscribed yet, but it's time that you do. I love you. I love you. I love you. And if nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did. That somebody is me. Make of that what you will, because you will. And may the jump be with you. Bah! See you next time on the Fifth Element. Blah, 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 blah. Peace.